That's one of the great mysteries of the Maya civilization is that over a very short period of time, like 100 years, it seems to have declined very rapidly. It collapsed. What do you think explains that? What happened? What
I
do you think
think
happened?
it's a failing of archaeology to properly see what was happening. I think that most of those cities' populations moved, no more than 20 to 40 kilometers out and started their own farm, and they lived in perishable houses, and all archaeology's signature sees is that nobody lives in the city center anymore.
Hmm.
We don't see a bunch of mass bodies. There's no evidence of people getting sick.
Hmm.
There are certain cities that fought with each other at the end, and we see that signature plain as day. We know when a city was attacked and burned. Mostly that didn't happen. People moved and migrated, and it seems like right there around like between 800 and 900, a lot of the elites that were on top in the most of it was in the rainforests of northern Guatemala. They move. They move in two directions. Some of them move into the highlands of Guatemala, and some of them move up into the Yucatan. The city of Chichen Itza becomes the next big capital in Yucatan, but the word Itza is actually a word describing the people who lived around Lake Piten Itza in northern Guatemala. And all of the Maya are super clear about that the Itza came in as immigrants with these new ideas and created Chichen Itza. So the elites who were no longer welcome in their cities just moved and set up shop somewhere else.
So why was there a decline? What was maybe the catalyst? Was there a specific kind of events that started this? Was this an idea that kind of transformed the society?
We are still debating that.
Mhm.
I don't think there is a single reason. I think humans are complicated. I think a lot of things led to this. One thing we can see archaeologically is that every one of the cities became overpopulated. They were too popular, and we think that they pushed the limits of their capacity to feed and house people.
Mhm.
We see it in lots of the cities at the end of the Classic period that people are seasonally starving. I remember really stark evidence in Copan, Honduras. Copan was this beautiful city, lineage of 17 kings. But the last kings and the last elite burials that we dig from the city center, the teeth are the telling part. They get this thing when you're growing up and you're not getting enough food seasonally. It shows up in the enamel of your teeth. It's called dental hypoplasia. And if somebody's seasonally starving, it gets these lines in their teeth. And that last generation of Maya before they left Copan, even the rich people are seasonally starving. So there's a problem there for sure. But I also think it's a weird thing. It was not an empire. It was a group of independent city-states like Greece.
Mhm.
Some of them were allied, some of them were enemies. There was a huge civil war that settled out about the end of the Classic period. So if it was Europe, the victors would have taken over, the losers would have beat it and gone wherever they went. But when they abandoned these cities that were independent still, they all left, both the guys that won and the guys that lost the war. So it couldn't be just as simple as spoils go to the victor. It's such a wide area. Not everybody was starving like the people in the Copan Valley. So I personally think it was calendrically timed. It is interesting to note that that ninth period, that ninth 400-year period ends right then. And I think a lot of people, I can't prove it archaeologically, but I think a lot of people said, we're coming to the end of a great cycle and we need to renew. We need to change what we're doing. When you talk to the Maya today, like at the end of this 2012 thing, if you actually talk to Maya, say, what happens at the end of a big cycle here? They say cycles are a time of renewal and transformation, that it is all of our obligation to change our lives at the end of cycles, that change is coming. We can either be part of it or we can get steamrolled by it. The Aztecs did this neat thing called the New Fire Ceremony. Every 52 years, which was the biggest their calendar would go, they'd burn down perfectly good temples, and they'd burn down their houses sometimes. And they would just, everybody in society would perform this, what they called the New Fire Ceremony, and they would renew the world. So I think my personal theory is that the Maya decided at the end of the ninth Baktun that it was time to renew the world.
I think this theory makes sense because they really internalized the calendar. I mean, it was a really big part of their culture, this sense of the cyclical nature of civilization.
That's what I think. I think that that they created that calendar to perceive the cycle and to harmonize with it.